when hinges creak in Ellen's energy adventure, whenever bad movies come out. That is the time when podcast hosts are present, practicing their topics with ghoulish delight. Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Worst Things Ever podcast. I am your host, your ghost host, and number one Tuscan fan. I'm joined by... Turn that shit off. Fucking
turn it off.
I'm joined by Christian Herrera.
Hey guys, it's me, Christian Herrera, also one of your ghost hosts. Thank you for joining us, and as always, number one Tuscan fan.
And Eric Bayer.
Hello, spooky fans.
Well, I mean, if you couldn't already tell, this is going to be our Halloween episode, boys. I hope you're ready for this. Because we've got so many fun Halloween topics. It's the fucking season, you guys. Are you ready for Halloween?
I'm scared.
I'm
Are there any frights?
So, the witching hour has begun, my friends. We're all gathered around candlelight.
Oh god, the moon is turning red.
For this dark ceremony of the Worst Things Ever. Halloween Spooktacular. So, you know what? It's the season. Why don't we start with a Halloween topic? We've got 4 Halloween topics, so don't worry, this is not going to be only one.
In increasing spookiness.
They're all really spooky. But we're going to start with my topic, which is going to be...
Don't we always?
Yeah.
Listen, all right? It's my show. You guys are here for the fucking ride.
Eric,
so, you know what? If I say that we're gonna do my topic first, we're gonna do my topic first. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my topic is gonna be worst Halloween costume. Yeah. Woo.
Scared.
My pick.
Wait,
you know, there's not like.
Time out real quick. I know you want to get into your pick, but I was going to ask you if you have any notable costumes of your own from your past
That I've done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of costumes.
Any particularly embarrassing ones?
Not a whole lot of embarrassing ones. You know what? When I was like a freshman in high school, I thought it would be really funny to be emo Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. And that's probably the most embarrassing I've ever gotten.
That's kind of cool still.
I mean, yeah, and like I would dance around the hallways, and that was kind of embarrassing looking back on it. But, you know, I had like my hair pulled over to the side, I had the black shirt, and then I had like the black Spider-Man suit underneath it. So
man, you're representing the 5th worst Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, the 5th worst. You're right. You're definitely right about that. And maybe 3rd or 2nd best. But, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I've done a bunch of Halloween costumes. I was the Xenomorph one year. I was Indiana Jones another year. I was SpongeBob SquarePants. Let me see if I can find a picture of that
hell yeah.
for the audience. But, I had a full-on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Did you do a voice?
No. You know what? A lot of these times... I think the emo Spider-Man was the only time I've ever done like a performance with my costume. But like, you know, no, not really. I've been a lot of Disney characters.
Oh yeah?
Mickey I was Goofy one year. No, I've never been, I might have been Mickey.
Gaston?
Goofy. I was Strong Bad from Homestar Runner one year.
Nice.
Let me see what else. I'm trying to think. I mean, an old standby for me is the Headless Horseman, but I stopped trick-or-treating about freshman year, and
yeah. Did you get the? Because my last trick-or-treating experience, I was yelled at by neighbors. Did you get that on your last one?
No. Yeah. On my last one, it was pretty good, but I just decided I was a little too old. But you know what? I say that a lot, and I get mixed responses. Like, some people are like, oh, that's not old at all. Like, or that's not too young at all to quit trick-or-treating. You should have quit when you were fucking in 6th grade. But then I get people who are like, yeah, I didn't stop trick or treating until I was fucking 18.
No
And
way.
that to me seems a little stupid.
That's a little old.
Yeah, that's old to me. But yeah, there was kids in my high school who would come by my house, like in trick or treat outfits, like a little bit, more adult than you would
Ironically.
get. No, it wasn't ironic.
Oh boy.
Anyways, an old standby now is Headless Horseman because
Mhm.
I like to scare kids that come to my house. But
Oh.
what about you guys? What are some costumes you guys are about that you guys have done?
What do you think, Ricky? Goku, Michael Myers.
No, when I
Jason
was a kid, I used to just dress as like cartoon characters I really liked. So I've been like Bam Bam from Flintstones, and
nice.
Oh, really?
I've been like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. I think
That's really funny.
I had a period where I was like really into costumes, and I fell out of costumes. And the last year I did costumes, I was Psyduck from Pokemon.
Nice.
Yeah, I wore like a big yellow jumpsuit, and then I had like a Psyduck hat that I wore, and I had like pool flippers I wore too. And I don't know. I think that's a costume if I wore now, I'd be able to laugh with it and just joke with it and be stupid. When I wore it as a kid, like I was like, I think I was 8 or 9 years old. I was like, this is dumb. This isn't as cool as I thought it would be. And then I got out of wearing costumes for a long time. I never wore costumes for Halloween.
At 9? That's when you
yeah.
quit?
I kept trick or treating, but I would always like really just half-ass the costume. Like, put some raggedy like clothes on, and I'm a zombie, I guess, and some little bit of fake blood. Like I'd really like half-ass it, basically
That's
just to
not
go
me
trick or
at
treating
all.
with my friends. Yeah, I know. Like I used to be into it, and then I was out of it, and then I didn't really start dressing up again until, I mean, kind of, sort of, if you count it, like when I started working at the haunted house. I've been working in there for like 4 or 5 years now, and then it was like, well, I could just wear my work clothes for a costume, and that's like a pretty legitimate costume, and there's that. So for the last like 4 or 5 years, I've just basically worn whatever my character is from the haunted house that year, and that's been my Halloween costume for the last like 5 years.
Gotcha.
What
Yeah.
about you, Christian?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I think I might be on the same boat as Eric. Like around like 9 or 10, or maybe a little later, I just stopped like putting effort into it. I mean, I didn't stop trick or treating until I was probably like 13, 14.
Yeah, I stopped, like my last year was 15 too.
But like I definitely had a couple years of like zombie stuff like that. But when I was younger, I did a lot of Disney, a lot of Pokemon. I'm laughing because I remember I was Charmeleon one year. Not Charizard,
Wow.
not Charmander. Charmeleon.
Yeah, I had a friend who was Charmeleon too. The year that I was Ash Ketchum, my best friend who lived around the block from me was Charmeleon. So we trick or treated together as Ash and Charmeleon.
Charmeleon's cool though. He's not lazy like Charizard is. He's just like Charmander, but with way more attitude. And I think that's why I think
what boys
Charmeleon's
want.
so appealing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dope.
I was also Sonic the Hedgehog one year.
Nice.
So that
I was gonna
cool.
say I was also Jar Jar Binks one year.
Oh, right on, dude.
I was
Yeah.
I think like 7 years old. There's no good pictures of it. There's only I have pictures of me in that costume, but not with the mask. Just a kid walking around in like a weird like freckly
vest.
skin suit with a vest.
I just remembered I was Super Mario one year. Were any of you guys ever Super Mario?
No, actually.
You know what? That's always something that I feel like, if I'm going to a Halloween party, I'm going to have to do that because it's so easy and I have the hat already. So it's like, all I'd have to do is get fucking overalls and a shirt and the costume's made for me. But yeah, I've never ended up doing it. I figure if I have to go to like a theme park Halloween thing one of these years, I might end up doing that. But yeah, I mean, how much more do we need to say about Halloween costumes? Oh wait, we have to say a bunch because we have to say
it's the topic.
What's the worst Halloween costume? You know what? My pick is gonna be. I'm just gonna say it. It's gonna be the sexy Native American costume.
Oh my god!
I feel like
that's very specific.
I feel like it's 2018.
Oh my god!
It's the time for these costumes has ended, right? I feel like
specifically those, like, you don't like sexy costumes otherwise still in, other kinds of Native Americans still in, but the sexy Native American is just
that's a bridge too far for me.
Too far.
Because
all right.
you know what? Native American costumes, I hear the complaints about those every year, and I get them, and I agree. But even then, like, if some guy dresses up like an authentic Indian chief,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not his culture, it's, we can talk about appropriation all night, but to me, that's not, like, as offensive as a sexy thing. Like, if somebody from... I don't want to get too into this, but if somebody else dressed up as like a Greek or something, or like a Spartan or something like that,
those Greeks,
it wouldn't be like offensive if they weren't Greek heritage or whatever.
Right.
I can understand why it's not appropriate to wear that if you're just a straight up white dude wearing like a big old Indian chief hat. But I think where it crosses a line too far for me is like, it's sexualizing a culture, which I think is really odd with the sexy Native American costumes. And I just think it's 2018 and we got to stop it. That could have flown when like Pocahontas was coming out, but now it's 2018. Pocahontas hasn't been in movie theaters for 20 years. So I think we can put the kibosh on it, I think we can say that we don't need the sexy Native American costumes.
Are any sexy nonfiction costumes safe?
It's difficult to draw that line, I think, because I think there's some sexy costumes, like if somebody wants to wear that, go for it, I say, but it's not my favorite thing. I think they're kind of lame and cheap, and they never look good. When you see them at Spirit Halloween Superstore, you don't want to pick that up. But every year at Spirit, I see these Native American sexy costumes, and I just think those are the worst ones. I look at them and go, that's the most offensive you can get, I think. Like
unintentionally.
It's unintentionally offensive, and I think that's why it's bad. But that's my pick. What do you guys think?
Do you what about like a legitimate Pocahontas costume?
I mean, that's different though. Like I saw a Reddit post the other day that was like, it was comparing a sexy Snow White to a regular Snow White. And if you just do a straight up Pocahontas costume, I mean, that's a different story.
What if it's
a cartoon character?
Not sexy Native American, but sexy Pocahontas.
Ooh, that's a fiction.
I still think it's a little too far, but
I think you're right.
I think sexy Pocahontas is maybe not as bad as a sexy Native American.
What if the costume wearer is of Native American descent?
Oh, that's totally okay. If they want to do that, go for it.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, a white girl fucking showing up to a Halloween party with her pumpkin spice latte. She shows up and she's dressed fucking like, not the Disney Pocahontas, but real world Pocahontas, but she's got like
sexy little
some cleavage going
Pocahontas.
on. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not condoning that. But that's what I'm saying. What do you guys think?
That's a spooky pick.
It is a spooky pick.
Scary.
I told you we were getting spooky.
Yeah, no. I think I got the lowdown. My pick's in a similar vein, so maybe I should go next. I think.
Well, yeah, let me hear
go
it.
for it.
Mine once I couldn't really. I tried looking up like a lot. Tried thinking about Halloween past. Tried really looking up a lot of bad Halloween costumes, and I couldn't really whittle it down to just one. So I'm gonna go for a bit of a spectrum answer with this one. And for mine, I'm gonna do like any kind of like relevant political costume.
Here we go.
I say relevant because I think there's a way to do some political costumes. Like if someone wants to dress up as Abraham Lincoln for fucking Halloween, I think that's fucking funny and cool.
That's a good costume. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fucking fine. Like old presidents, whatever, sure. But I mean, like, last year or the year before, like in the dead heat of like the presidential election, like dressing up as like Trump or Hillary or Bernie Sanders. It to me, like just dressing up as that doesn't even scream like comedy. It just screams to me like I want attention. I want to be controversial. I want to rustle someone's jimmies with this. Like it just, I don't see the point in it. Like it's that kind of thing where it just seems like, it's humor to be offensive in a way. Like you're just looking to like poke someone's bear. I feel like when you choose to do that. In my eyes.
Let me tell you a story about this exact thing.
Sure.
Because last year, I had a group of 2 kids come to my house. I always do everything up for Halloween. I wanted to mention this earlier, but I go all out for Halloween. I decorate my entire house. It's like a haunted fucking house. But so I always do like a really extravagant costume, whatever. So these 2 kids came. One was dressed up like Psy, and the other was dressed up like Donald Trump. And it was a literal living nightmare because the kid was blasting Gangnam Style and doing the dance over and over and over again while like the kid next to him was going, "I'm Donald Trump. I don't like Mexicans." Like, that was the worst.
Oh man, you're right.
Let me say they should definitely check those candy bars.
Oh,
definitely.
Somebody stop them.
Especially if you guys kids doing Psy Gangnam Style costume in like 2017.
Yeah, honestly, they should check those fucking candy packages for rips, if you know what I'm saying.
The Gangnam Style is only getting funnier. Like when that costume
you know what, you're right.
out, when that costume first came out, it was everywhere. But now it's just like hilarious. The more outdated it gets.
I want to do a Gangnam Style Psy costume in the year of our Lord 2022. Because
10 year anniversary.
10-year anniversary. Yeah, I think the Donald Trump ones are definitely bad. I think the Hillary ones are definitely bad. I don't see them like a kid wearing a Donald Trump costume or a Hillary costume. It's surface level. None of these kids know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
They don't fucking know their fucking ass from their head.
Yeah.
So them putting these costumes on, I don't feel like there's no motivation behind it beyond just like, oh, this thing's popular. So to me, like the political costumes are kind of similar in vein to like a Fortnite costume this year.
But you don't, when you see a kid in like, presidential costume, there's something very relevant like Hillary or Trump or whatever. You like, how much of that do you think is the kid going, I want to be one of these guys, versus their parents going, hey, it'd be funny if we put you in a Donald Trump costume this year for Halloween. Like, you think that, like, how many kids wearing that do you think like, oh, I want to be the presidential candidate? Because
honestly, I think it would surprise you. I think most kids would probably pick that rather than their parents going for it. Like maybe their parents are laughing about it at fucking the Halloween store, but I guarantee kids who want to wear, kids who are wearing Donald Trump costumes want to be wearing a Donald Trump costume. It's not like they're being forced to wear this Donald Trump costume. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think anyways.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I hear your point. Because I just think of like the parent being like, yeah, like not even like forcing them like, hey, this is the costume I bought you, but more just like planting the seed of the kid's mind, like, oh, Timmy, it'd be really funny if you were Donald Trump. What do you think of that? Like trying to coax them into it, and then being like, oh yeah, sure. Like that's how I imagine the exchange went at the house when I see a kid wearing that costume. But once again, that's just me. It's not like we have hard numbers here. That's just my take.
Yeah, I can see that. But Christian, let me hear your pick before we go any further.
Hey guys, it's me. My pick, just hanging out, just on a nice night like tonight. Us boys just being boys. It's very spooky as always. Yeah. So I was looking at costumes, and every time I go to Spirit Halloween, it's always, it's been a couple of weeks since we had Garrett on, but I have to bring it up. It's a very Halloween's a very horny time.
It is.
Like I feel like the only people that keep Spirit Halloween in business are like college age girls or like 40-year-old single guys and nothing in between.
No
I mean,
kids?
I love going to Spirit Halloween just to buy decorations.
No,
Like,
I'm talking about like those like in the bag costumes. Who buys those?
Oh yeah.
Lazy parents for kids.
Anyway, damn, you're right.
Even like college age girls, like they'll buy the sexy outfits, but like I feel like more girls make their own than
You
do
think
those.
so?
I honestly never see many people buying the fucking shitty like in the crappy cardboard bag thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the last time I went to a Halloween party where a lot of people were in like those kinds of costumes. But like that's all they sell. It's like raunchy costumes, like, oh, I'm like a tap or I'm like a barrel. My tap is at my pee-pee hole. But like those people, they show up to the party and they're like, ha, ha, check this out, and then they're cool for the rest of the night. I'm talking about the people who don't end the bit. Like specifically, my umbrella is gonna be character costumes of like funny
oh god.
characters. I'm talking about Rick and Morty. I'm talking about Deadpool. I'm talking about the Joker. These
people who
that
play these characters with their costume.
these costumes that are made for people like that are like, I'm the funny guy and like I'm Deadpool tonight. You know, we talk about that like at conventions and stuff. Those kinds of people that show up, but like on Halloween,
Like when you dress up like Deadpool to convention and you have to be Deadpool for the entire convention. Like you have to fucking like take a dump in fucking trash cans. You have to fucking eat a fucking merch bag. Yeah, I get it.
right? And I feel like on Halloween, it's supposed to, you show up to the party and it's supposed to be like a chill thing. You're hanging out, everyone's in costumes, you take pictures, but like there's people that just walk around doing their bit all night, and the more they drink, the more the bit gets funny, you know?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's not like a specific costume, but I like the idea of maybe picking that just because it's a bad trend that people like to do.
And it's been going on, I mean, forever, as long as costumes have been around. You dress up as a character, or like you try to do like the opposite, like, oh, I'm dressed like Mickey Mouse, but I'm like a crazy Mickey Mouse, and the just goes on forever.
Yeah, I'm like a creepy pasta Mickey Mouse that is gonna murder
creepy pasta.
people.
I feel
There's like a whole section at Spirit Halloween Superstore now that's just creepy pasta.
I saw like
wow,
like Slender Man, or like the mask with like the red eyes.
Mm-hmm. There's Jeff the Killer I've seen.
Wow.
But yeah, there's also the, what's it called? Fucking SCP? Is that what it's called? There's like
SCP.
some sort of like internet thing where it's scary stories, but it's like monster stories or something like that. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's
I don't know what that is.
It's an internet meme thing. Anyways, there was a bunch of those there too. We're getting a little off topic. What do you guys like that is not your pick? What do you guys think that like is a good contender?
What out of our three?
They're all bad. I'm sort of leaning towards Zach right now because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like yours is the one that exists in my eyes more. Like Eric's, I don't see a lot of, or at least I hope I don't see a lot of those costumes of like people showing up like Donald Trump or Hillary, or like, I mean, I don't know, Obama. I don't see a lot of those around. I see them sell the mask and stuff, but you know,
I don't think even an Obama costume is that bad though. Like, if I saw somebody dressed up as Obama, I'd be like, all right,
yeah,
go for it.
That's time past. I'm definitely talking about, like, you know, I mean, I said relevant political, I guess, is Obama, but yeah, definitely like just, you know, those costumes where, you know, it's like, oh, this is a controversial figure. Like, I would not be surprised if we ended up seeing Brett Kavanaugh costumes this Halloween. Wouldn't be surprised if some
he's
people
like got a beer and
is that
shit.
fun for people?
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing. Is like, is that fun for you? Like, do you just like reminding people of this, and just making people constantly reminded of how much the political system sucks right now. Like what is this? Doesn't attain anything. I don't know.
Those costumes definitely exist, but they're kind of outside of what I experience.
Right.
So
now, sexy costumes like sexy Pocahontas and sexy. What was the Handmaid's Tale? That was one of them that got made this year.
Oh yeah. Everybody was complaining about that one.
Yeah.
Right.
That one drew was like the last straw, I guess. But there's still every other sexy costume being sold at.
You can still find the Native American sexy section. There's like a whole fucking wall at my Spirit that was just fucking naked Native Americans. So,
Jesus.
but they were all blonde white girls too, which was especially weird. Anyways, I don't know if that's better or worse actually. But anyways, Eric, what do you think is of the two that is not your pick? What are you going with? What are you leaning towards?
Probably more yours than Christian's, because Christian's, it's like I always expect someone to be some kind of character from a media thing. I always know there's gonna be a Joker. I always know there's gonna be a Rick and Morty, someone from like a popular new cartoon. I always expect that. I know the funny guy is always gonna be in the crowd. So it's the kind of thing where it's like I hear it and it sucks, but it's like almost so much of a staple of Halloween to the point where it's like I just learned to, like, I don't know, I guess just tune it out or not really let it affect me, because it's like, yeah, like no one is ever going to stop being like a guy from like a media thing. Like that's such a broad, like Christian's pick is such a broad, huge spectrum of costume that I just learned to not feel anything towards those type of people anymore.
Well, I don't think he's saying like any media. I think he's talking more about like costumes that come with like a person doing a character with them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's less the costume and it's more of like the person being the character, acting like the character at the party.
Yeah. I don't know if I've
being a wacky dude.
Yeah, I have experience with that, and like in like what you call it, like conventions and stuff. Of course I experience that all the time at conventions. At conventions it's fucking annoying. But in terms of like Halloween parties and stuff, I feel like I don't run into too many of those characters. Like maybe once in a while you get a Beetlejuice guy who's just going off the rails. I feel like Beetlejuice is the one character who I see at Halloween, and whoever wears the Beetlejuice costume is just Beetlejuice. No one is ever chill if they're wearing a Beetlejuice costume. But otherwise,
I actually don't mind that though.
Oh my God.
Like Beetlejuice, I feel like
where's the line?
Where's the line?
The line is Rick and Morty. That's where it is.
What's the difference between Rick and Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice is more endearing. There's you know what? You give things enough time and they're okay. If some guy is dressing up like Beetlejuice and he acts a little bit like Beetlejuice, I'm all right with it.
Damn.
But fucking if they're Heath Ledger's Joker, or if they're Deadpool, or if they're Rick from Rick and Morty, that's where it's like enough. There's too much.
You have another one?
I think that's about it. I'm kind of leaning towards Christian's pick. But
yeah, you're
starting
to sell me on it too. You're starting to sell me on Christian's pick.
Hell yeah!
I guess the persona costume is the way I'd categorize.
Not to be confused with Persona, the video game.
No, like someone who
costume.
takes on a whole persona when they wear their costume and doesn't just wear a costume. I guess is maybe the best way to put Christian's pick.
I mean, it sounded like you guys also agreed that the Native American thing is maybe not so great, but I'm willing to totally go with Christian's pick because I don't like the persona costume either.
Yeah.
That's like the most annoying to me.
Oh my God, am I gonna?
You know what? A sexy Native American is not
that
even
bad, right?
It's just not.
No, it's bad.
It doesn't. It's bad. It's bad. It just doesn't affect me really in any way.
Right. I mean,
I see that it's not like I can still talk to that person and I can think that they're wrong for wearing that costume, but
But you're
it's
outside
not
of that
like it's
circle.
gonna affect my enjoyment of the night. Or
Right. You
whatever,
just look
like
at
a
it, you
Persona
kind of go
costume.
like, "Oh, that's tasteless." You roll your eyes, and then that's kind of the end of it. But like, the persona character is something that kind of echoes throughout your engagement with that person, or the amount of time that person is in your space, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and there's certain degrees to it too. Like, I think a Beetlejuice costume is not maybe the worst if you were doing a Beetlejuice thing. I think a zombie thing, if you're just going all night, that's kind of fun. But it's the like super popular things right now that, and this kind of even plays into your thing, Eric, and my story that I brought up.
Yeah.
Which, if you're dressed up as Donald Trump and you're doing a persona of Donald Trump,
Yeah.
I think that usually comes hand in hand.
Yeah. It's even worse.
And that happened. Mm-hmm. That happened last year with Donald Trump and fucking Psy Gangnam Style kids that came to my house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be Christian's pick.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the persona.
Christian's
costume.
pick is very powerful when you break down when he's
lock it in.
Getting across there.
I got one in the bag. All right, see you guys later. Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, bye, Christian. Well, Eric, since it's just you and me now, we've had some tricks, but let's have some treats. What's your topic?
Time for treats.
Wait, guys, I'm still here. You know I like treats.
All right.
Ooh, I love some treats too.
All right. Well, Christian, you better sit your butt down for this one. Don't leave in the middle of my topic.
Well, if either of you say candy corn, I will leave.
Candy
Go
corn?
ahead.
I don't even know what the topic is.
Yeah, we don't know what the topic
how
is.
would I?
Treats.
What? What are you talking about, Eric? What's your topic?
He took the hint on what we were getting at. My topic is worst specifically worst Halloween candy, and I have to say before we do any of these topics,
worst candy. But...
No, worst Halloween candy, but like sure, I mean we could broad it out to worst candy because I think we've done like just in general I know we've done movie snack, but have we done just general worst candy period before?
We've never done worst candy.
Oh, no. Okay. So maybe I'm thinking of the movie snacks because yeah, like I was thinking along the lines of just worst candy, but then I was like, let me Google like what specific like Halloween candy that maybe I'm not thinking of. And yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that I was just seeing like listed all over Google that I'm like, oh yeah, there is a ton of stuff that you like only ever see during Halloween, that's it. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, so I would I mean it's okay if you didn't pick like a Halloween specific candy or whatever, but yeah, there is a lot of like very Halloween specific candies I think that are it's kind of interesting to make. But anyway,
well,
so yeah,
hit me with one.
Yeah, so my pick this is gonna echo back from an old topic from our episode where we did the worst Oreo flavor episode. If any of you remember my pick for that, you'll know what I'm about to pick here. So my pick here for worst Halloween candy is the Fireball, the hot cinnamon sucker. I was gonna broaden this out to any kind of like hot cinnamon thing, but I think the Fireball is just like that's like just a dense mass of like hot cinnamon crap that I just don't.
Is this fair for you to
like
say?
at all.
It seems like you just don't like hot cinnamon anything.
Do you like hot tamales?
No.
Like the candy hot tamales, not like just a hot tamale.
Not like the corn.
Oh man, you're losing me here already, Eric. I'm telling you that right now. But
because I was really
hear it.
Going through all the Halloween candies, and I'll there's a lot of very not good Halloween candy. There's a lot of like very boring ones or bland ones or kind of like, this is so. But I feel like all of the ones I could think of, it's like, okay, maybe that's not my favorite thing, but once I get through all the good stuff, like I'll still eat that, whatever. But like I think like the hot cinnamon Fireballs are just like the ones that it's like I won't touch these. I'll give them to someone or they're going in the garbage. Like I can't even eat it. I just don't like hot cinnamon Fireballs. It's just a massive bullshit. I don't like it. It's too much. It's too potent. It's too powerful. It's not meant for the mouth. I like sour stuff, but I don't like hot cinnamon. It's not my bag.
Is there any way to fix it?
I feel like those two are so similar. The sensation is so similar that I can't get behind your pick because like a Warhead to me is a similar sensation to a Fireball. Like it's kind of a challenge for you to suck on it. But that's kind of the fun in it too.
Well, okay. Well, specifically with warheads, I mean, when you first put a warhead in your mouth, it's not a good flavor at all. But I think the part of the warhead is you get over this hump of like this ultra super bitter sour, and then you get this nice sweet candy afterward. So warhead is almost I don't wouldn't say I like the sourness of the warheads, but I eat warheads because I like the challenge of getting through the sourness and then getting to the good candy. So I like sour candies, but I don't like sour, like super potent sour stuff, I guess you would say.
I think I haven't had a Fireball in a long time, but I feel like the Fireball does something kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but it is like once you suck away that cinnamon coating, there is just like a straight up kind of just sweet ball.
It's a little candy. Yeah.
I've maybe never made it past that. I maybe this is news to me. What?
Do you remember in that movie Kangaroo Jack where they feed the kangaroo a bunch of those?
I do remember that.
Oh my god!
Was that you? Were you like Kangaroo Jack in that scene?
Yeah, I was. I turned into
You didn't like them.
You had to like dunk your head in underwater and fucking get your red hoodie all wet.
I did.
With all that money in the pocket.
Yeah, I get the money was in the pocket. Yeah. What a great movie.
That is a great movie. Hey, you know what? Fuck this fucking podcast. Let's just do Kangaroo Jack Hour.
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
I would love that. Actually, you know what? Let's keep doing this and let's just finish it out for completion.
Let's finish where we started.
You know? Exactly. My pick.
Yep.
There's only one name brand candy that I actively dislike. And I feel like I think most candy that is not like some weird Icelandic candy that's like called Schluppentuft or something like that is usually good. So I'm talking just like straight up the big names when we're talking about candy.
Well, you see in everybody's little bucket.
Yeah, and you usually have them in your Halloween bag, maybe in little clear transparent packs. The worst candy far and away are plain strawberry Twizzlers.
Is the plain Twizzler strawberry flavored?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Anyway, is that a controversial pick? I don't like Twizzlers. Does anybody like Twizzlers?
I do.
I mean,
I hate Twizzlers.
I like Twizzlers
because they are not even close to like the perfection, I think, of Red Vines. I think Red Vines are the perfect licorice candy snack.
I don't like either.
And you know what? Red Vines, great for movies. I love those giant big buckets that they come in. Oh, I love Red Vines. But Twizzlers are, if there are Twizzlers around me, I get upset because, you know, if I have them in my Halloween bag, I'm not going to eat those fucking things at all. People always shit on like Tootsie Rolls, but I can get down with Tootsie Rolls. Twizzlers are going to be the last thing I eat, bar none.
But you eat them.
Maybe.
Well,
honestly, I don't. I usually throw them away.
Well, he said last thing to eat, so that implies that he does eat them. He just eats them last.
Well, you know what? I was not a picky kid when I was fucking 8. I would eat Twizzlers, and now, you know, as an adult, I haven't had one in forever. But I don't like them. They're rubbery. They're only vaguely sweet. I feel like they're not a good candy. You know, you can't really chew on them very well because, like I said, they're so rubbery. They're not good. And I feel like the only time Twizzlers are good is when they're like sour or they've got some weird flavor to them. But like regular plain strawberry Twizzlers, there's not much going on there, I don't think. It's not sweet enough to be a good candy. And then, yeah, it's got the rubbery thing and it's not fun to eat. You know, even with Red Vines, you can like bite off the top and the bottom of them and like stick it into soda. You drink your soda.
You could do the same thing with Twizzlers. I've done that with Twizzlers.
No, you can't. Twizzlers.
I've done
Twizzlers
it.
doesn't have the hole anymore.
Done it.
Not anymore. They don't have a hole anymore. It's fucking sealed.
When did this happen?
When's the last time you had a Twizzler, Eric?
Sometime this year.
No, you can't do them. You can't do it anymore. It's fucking sealed now.
When's the last time you had a Twizzler? I thought you said you hadn't had Twizzlers in forever.
I looked it up.
Mr. Twizzler expert over here. He knows everything about Twizzlers.
Listen.
What?
Listen, I don't like Twizzlers. That's my argument. I know Eric seems to like them here, but Twizzlers to me.
Sensing some conspiracy theory stuff here. There's some facts.
Maybe there's some Mandela effect going on.
There's some facts not adding up.
You were always fucking eating red vines. And you're like, oh, this is a Twizzler.
Hey, you know what? I like Twizzlers, and I've never had a red vine. So
really?
Oh my god!
What are you doing?
I just never see. I see them once in a while, but whenever I see them, I'm just not in the mood to buy candy, or there's like something else I'm buying. I don't know. But I've very rarely seen them. Like I could probably count all the times in my head that I've ever seen a red vine in a store. I guess they're just not common where I am.
Yeah, I think they're definitely more like a nice West Coast thing.
Not like a nice black and white cookie, right?
Yeah, black and white cookies rock.
What does that have to do with candy?
Christian,
what's your pick for worst candy?
Mr. New Yorker. Worst candy? Red vines. No. Listen, I'm happy none of you said candy corn because I like candy corn.
Yeah, I do too.
I love candy corn.
Good shit.
Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same. Thank you guys.
It's one of those things where I don't think I would like it if it was year round, but because it's a Halloween.
You can't eat it all the time.
I like it more.
If
they just sold candy corn like fucking in the middle of April, I probably wouldn't buy it.
No.
But because it's the Halloween season, you get into candy corn. It's like those fucking little sweethearts that they sell at Valentine's.
Oh, those are nasty.
Those are kind of nasty, but I still get them anyways because it's Valentine's Day and I want to be in the spirit.
I think it's people are always like, oh, the first pumpkin spice of the fall, but like when I walk into Target and they've got those big 5-pound bags of candy corns, and for like $2.
Do you like the autumn mix? Do you like the Brex autumn mix where they got the mellow creams and they got the chocolate ones?
I was gonna say I was looking for a worst candy, and my pick was gonna be those little pumpkin fake candy corns.
I was considering that. I was considering that one too.
Oh, you guys are out of your mind. You don't like mellow cream?
I don't know. Oh. They get them away from my candy corn, and don't even put them in the same aisle.
Goodbye.
But
you
that's
guys
not
are
my
nuts.
choice.
Yeah, that was almost gonna be my choice.
You know what? It should have been my choice. You guys seem pretty vocal about it, but no. You know what? Throw those in the trash. Give me extra candy corns if you're gonna waste the product.
You know what? I sometimes just get straight a full-on bag of mellow cream. I'm gonna say that right now.
That's insane.
It's
candy corn's right next to it. It's in arm's reach.
It's so similar. It's the exact same taste, but they give you more of it.
It's too dense.
The formula was perfected with candy corn.
It was.
I mean, I think candy corn is definitely better, but I think mellow cream is fine. Anyways, let's move on.
What do we got,
anyway,
Christian?
What's your pick?
I was thinking of picking that, but then I thought that's not really a thing that I got as a kid in my bag. That's not something that someone would put in my bag, but something that without a doubt I would get dozens of, and I would always think, why do I want this? Is the little individually wrapped hubba bubba gums. Those are so flavorless, and they're just powdery, and why are you giving this as candy? It's not. I don't consider gum candy in any way.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum, but it is the thing where if I'm digging around in my Halloween trick-or-treat bag, I just want to munch down on some fucking candy. I'm not in the mood. I
don't want to chew gum.
To just pop in a piece of gum and start chewing, because then I can't eat candy. So it's the kind of thing where I always go okay, so I got all this candy and I got a bunch of gum here. I'm going to save the gum for last. I'm going to eat all the candy first. But then by the time I finish all the candy, the gum's hard as a rock and I can't eat it anyway. So it's just a waste.
Well, you know what? I even feel the same way about, and it's not to the same extent, obviously, but blow pops I feel are similar because, I want to eat the gum. I don't want to just throw the gum in the trash, but I usually have to with blow pops. And
wait, why do you have to throw it in the trash?
Well, because if you get that in your Halloween bag and you just, eat a blow pop, then you got all this fucking gum in your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Well, wait, hold on. You suck the lollipop and then you have the gum. So why do you have to throw away the gum?
Well, because I'm saying it's the exact same thing as getting the fucking gum in your trick or treat bag.
But if you're eating a lollipop, you're already kind of committing to.
Nah, lollipop's good.
Yeah, if you're eating a lollipop, you're already kind of committed to sucking on a lollipop. So
I'm just saying that the gum is something I don't like about blow pops, because if I have a big bag of candy and I eat a blow pop, all of a sudden I'm eating fucking gum.
Also,
you got gum in your mouth.
Anyways,
blow pop gum is much better than Hubba Bubba. Just gonna say that as well.
That's true. Yeah,
I don't
Hubba Bubba
mind
itself is not
the
that
Hubba
good.
Bubba gum, but I can see why we might pick that, just because it does take away from the candy enjoying experience. Like, I even enjoy getting like 3 little yellow Hubba Bubba things and just popping them in my mouth. I think that's fun. But if we have a big bag of candy,
It's filler.
it is filler. Yeah. And those are usually the ones I have the longest, besides Twizzlers.
Save them for last, and then by the time you're like, okay, I'm ready to have some gum, they're hard as a rock. Just throw them away, I guess. That's it.
You're right.
That's Hubba Bubba. It's a waste of time.
You know what? Let's go with Hubba Bubba.
Oh,
I'm willing to commit.
Yeah, I'm willing to as well, but I just want to say first, I read a lot of lists of like bad Halloween candies, and one I kept seeing pop up, and I thought was going to be Christian's pick when he said wrap things. I thought it was going to be those like black and orange peanut butter taffy things you get.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the little like grandma candy.
I saw a lot of those popping up on like worst Halloween candy lists. I don't mind them, but they're definitely not as good as like other peanut butter candies or other taffies or anything. But it's like they're there.
I was thinking we could also go with the like rubbery orange peanuts.
Yeah, circus peanuts.
Circus peanuts. Those are gross. Also, banana Laffy Taffy.
No.
But let's go with Hubba Bubba gum.
Well, another one I saw, just like real quick, I kept seeing this like always like number 1, number 2 on the list was Necco wafers. I saw those at the top of many lists.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically the exact same candy, I think, as the
Sweethearts,
the Valentine's Day candy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like no one legitimately gets those, right?
They're rare.
I mean, they're rare. Yeah, but I've had them.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm good with Hubba Bubba.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's lock it in. Hubba Bubba, it is. That's the worst Halloween candy. And I don't even know if we can count it, just because it is. We're going to count it. But I don't know if we can, just because it's not really a candy. You know what I'm saying?
But
hey, they throw it in
let's
there
go with
the
it
candy.
anyways. Fuck it. Well, Christian, since you're winner chicken dinner tonight, I guess.
2 in a row.
Why don't you hit me with one of your topics?
All right, boys. I'm telling you, it's getting increasingly spookier with these topics. But my topic's going to be worst Halloween movie. And you know how much we love talking about movies. That's kind of like our thing.
Bunch of cinephiles on this podcast.
We're just a bunch of cinephiles. Spooky cinephiles. But
Kangaroo Jack is my worst movie.
Is there any scene that takes place in Halloween in that movie? Can we call that a Halloween movie?
No,
we can't.
I wish we could.
Or it could be like one of those movies that it's only considered a Halloween movie because the character is so costumable.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So everyone, break out your red hoodie. Let's do this. We're bringing Kangaroo Jack back. 15-year anniversary or whatever it is.
Oh my god.
People get weird about like what they classify as a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie or whatever.
They're like, oh, there's one scene where you see a Christmas tree in the background. That's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If I want to watch fucking Die Hard or Krampus at Christmas, I think Krampus it's more annoying. Yeah, but people always argue that it's not. It's like, oh, it's a horror movie, so it's not a Christmas movie. And I'm like, come on, guys. If I want to watch one of these things at Christmas, just let me do it.
Christmas horror is a thing. You can have both together. I've got lots of awesome Christmas movie, Christmas horror. I always have queued up, ready to go at the end of November, beginning of December. Love Christmas horror.
Anyways, people do that for Halloween movies too. But yeah, Christian, what's your pick for?
All right. So my pick. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. There's a lot.
God.
Speaking of like Eric was just saying, the beginning of the month you queue up all your classics. You start hitting up your favorite Halloween movies, favorite Christmas movies when it gets to the season. But a couple years ago, I was told. A couple years, like not that long ago, I was told, "Oh, you got to watch The Craft." Have you guys seen The Craft?
Oh,
That's a classic that I've never gotten to, but yeah,
Oh,
that's
boy.
I know it's a
Let
classic,
me-
but yeah, I've never seen it.
Let me save
tell
you.
me about it.
Let me save you the 2 hours. It's everyone says it's a classic. It's about a girl. I feel like the story itself has been done since then. It's I think it was in the mid 90s, but it's about a girl, like average girl, who goes to a new school in a new town, and then at the school there's like this group of like outsider girls, kind of like a Mean Girls kind of situation, but like she's like, "Ooh, these girls seem cool," so she starts hanging out with them. Turns out they're all like witches, and they're like, "Oh, we're doing witchy stuff. We're doing like spells, and we have a cauldron, and we're like cool and goth, and you got to be like us." And then by the end, she ends up like being like them, and it is the most like feels like it was written by a 12-year-old girl who wants to be a witch, because man, is that movie has nothing for me. I feel like it was like not entertaining at all, and I feel like it's just that movie exists as an excuse for girls that want to be like witches to be like, "Ooh, this is cool. This is my movie." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah, skip that.
I mean, I've never seen the movie, so
It's
I can't comment on it. But
I didn't enjoy 1 minute of it. I didn't understand how it
Wow.
became a classic to anybody.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I'll have to add it to my list of
Check it out. Here, we'll pause this
of
real quick.
Halloween movies. Okay, yeah, well, when we come back, we'll have watched the movie.
Wow.
You know what, Christian? I kind of disagree. Maybe you know what? I think that was not as bad as you say it was. But Eric, what's your pick for worst? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah,
Actually, I should go.
I would love you to go.
Hold on.
Here he goes. You wanted to
All
go.
So, my movie, my pick, my worst horror movie, has been argued before
Oh boy.
as being experimental. And while I enjoy like movies that are taking risks and that are trying something different, there is nothing risky at all to me about recreating a classic movie shot for shot.
Gotcha.
And I'm talking, of course, about the 1998 Psycho,
Ah.
a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film. So it's basically exactly shot for shot, like to the fucking like angle of the camera, a remake of the 1960 film, but it somehow manages to be worse. Like Vince Vaughn has nowhere near the charisma of Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates in the original. And like, so yeah, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but basically it is just a remake of Psycho that they did in 1998 that you know, they replaced Vince Vaughn with Anthony Perkins. It's just it doesn't work for me. Like I said, I've heard it's experimental, like maybe it was just trying to see if they could get away with it. But to me, that's not. There's nothing good or interesting about remaking a classic just shot for shot. I think Psycho is such a perfect horror movie, and to remake that is so. It's like disrespectful or something to me.
So you don't think that there's like any irony behind it at all? You think it was just like a terrible choice all around?
I think that it could be argued that there's irony behind it, but I don't think that there is. I mean, I've seen the movie, and like, I think it would be better if there was like a new twist or something on it, but there's not, you know? Like everybody knows the twist
Mm-hmm.
that's coming.
Yep.
There's no surprise at all. It never tries anything new. There's no voice to it. It feels like, and that director, I forget what else he's done, but he did other things too that were like not bad things. But
like real movies.
yeah, he's done real movies before. And you know what? If it's an experiment to like fucking I don't know, make a remake, shot for shot remake of another movie on the company's dime,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean it's a good movie, you know? And I just feel like that movie is a textbook example of a movie that does not need to exist. And I think that's just such a bad thing to do. It's like remaking Citizen Kane or something shot for shot. I think that's the level that Psycho's at in terms of its influence. So that's my pick. I don't like the 1998 Psycho. Of all the horror movies I can think of, that's the one. And I even like the Psycho sequels too. Like people don't like those.
Yeah.
I like Psycho 2,
Yeah,
Psycho 3.
you.
So yeah, that's my pick. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's you know what? Because last night, because I'm a big horror movie guy, and last night I spent maybe like an hour or so actually like legitimately going through lists and lists and lists of like worst horror movie ever, is trying to like rev my mind up for this. And one thing I definitely noticed a theme a lot. I mean, I've noticed this before, but it reminded me that yeah, you know, there is a very common theme of people doing horror remakes of old movies that don't really need it, but not only doing them, but doing them shot for shot, and those shot for shot remakes almost adding nothing. Like there was a bunch of movies I was adding to my list of maybe this, maybe that, and I was like, wait, these are all movies that are just shot for shot remakes, and I was like, I can't really pick one of these because I feel like it's just such a common trend of media. So I'm kind of glad you said that one, because at least we have one pick here to kind of represent that awful trend of just making shot for shot remakes that don't add shit to the original.
Yeah, but even some of those, like, they're not. Psycho is the only example I can think of that is legitimately shot for shot. Like every single shot is a recreation of the scenes from the original Psycho.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if another movie has.
Yeah,
there's
I mean, like, in terms of like 100% shot to shot, I would say that there's some that follow the general story, like the Poltergeist remake was one that followed the same general story, but it's not shot for shot remake. But there are shot for shot remakes too I can think of, like the Cabin Fever remake was shot for shot.
Really?
Yeah, the remake of Let the Right One In was also very shot for shot. And even though that's like, you know, okay, we're translating this for American audiences, it was legitimately the same exact film with just English instead of the other language. And it was like, okay, this is just for people who don't want to read fucking subtitles. Like this movie doesn't need to be. So yeah, like it's a thing where I couldn't really like land on one, but like that is a good representation of like, you know, just shot for shot remakes that don't need to exist. But yeah, I think another thing about it too is just that, you know, Psycho is like one of the most classic movies, and you know, I think it being from the 60s adds so much to that movie and the aesthetic that it's one of those things too that the shot for shot remake having a different time or place, I think takes away some of the intended, you know, aesthetic or idea of the original film, to the point where I think Psycho is so good because there's such a large gap between those two times, you know, the 60s and the late 90s, that yeah, it's kind of like you watch, you know, the late 90s Psycho and it's like, what is this movie when it's just a schlocky 90s movie instead of like an awesome, weird experimental fun horror movie from the 60s, risky movie from the 60s. Yeah.
And like I think remaking movies is not inherently bad, because there have been some good ones.
Yep.
You know, like I think The Hills Have Eyes, the remake of that is just as good as the original.
I know this is worst things ever, but I do want to plug one of my favorite horror remakes of all time. Is a remake that came out this decade in either 2012.
This is your choice, by the way.
No, it's not worst movie. No, it's fucking not. 2012 or 2013. It's the remake of the slasher Maniac. The Maniac remake
I never saw that.
was fucking awesome. The original Maniac is already like a very good, dirty, like slasher movie. Like it feels very just grungy and grimy, but like that's kind of the point. And this one's a little bit cleaner, but like the twist they do with this one is that it is 100% point of view, not found footage. It's not like he's holding a camera the whole time. It is like you are looking through the killer's eyes through almost the entire movie. And it is just so up close and personal. And it, even though it is aesthetically cleaner, being that personal and intimate with all of the kills and scenes and everything does have its own different sense of grimy and filthy, and just it has the same feeling while doing it completely differently stylistically, almost even better than the original, I would say. So that was one remake where I was like, damn, this was a remake that had an idea, a purpose. It not only gave us something new, but it gave us something similar at the same time, and I would say even elevated and made it better, the original concept idea. So the Maniac remake is one of the best horror remakes of all time in my eyes. I love that movie. I just wanted to plug that for, because once again, you know, we're doing Halloween podcast. Want to give people a couple recommendations out there. That's it.
Who's in that again?
Elijah Wood plays the main.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I remember hearing about
that. I remember that.
He plays the main character, and like you don't see his face for most of it because you're doing POV. So it's like really mostly if he's like looking in the bathroom mirror or anything like that, kind of thing too. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite horror remakes of all time.
And now on to your worst.
Yeah, Eric, what's your least favorite horror movie of all time?
So I was really, really stuck between two movies for this one. And I've seen a lot of bad horror movies, lots and lots of bad ones. But I didn't want to pick something too obscure because I didn't want it, because I feel like if a movie's obscure enough, not a lot of people have seen it. It's probably not too harmful in the general face of cinema altogether. So I just didn't even count like some of the shitty, you know, direct-to-video movies I've seen or whatever. So I really wanted to pick something, you know, something big, something known, something a bit mainstream. So, and I really whittled it down to two. And one of them is a remake. And since Zach went with a remake, I think I'll go in the other direction and not pick my remake choice.
What's your remake choice?
My remake choice was going to be the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Okay.
That was one where it's like I watched it and it wasn't, and I felt so weird after watching it because it wasn't, and another reason why I'm not picking it is because it wasn't the worst movie or anything, but it just felt like a movie that had no purpose. It just felt like if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, all the reasons you probably like that franchise have been basically stripped away, and you're just kind of left with the leftovers. Like, I feel like it doesn't offer anything for people who are genuine fans of Nightmare on Elm Street. And for people who have seen Nightmare on Elm Street, it's like, why would you ever start with this movie? Just watch the originals. I feel like it's just a movie without a purpose.
It's a reboot.
Because, it's a reboot of the whole thing. And also they go way harder on Freddy Krueger's backstory, and they kind of imply in the old movies, but they never really say it outright. So it's something you can interpret, something you can just kind of not look at if you care not to. But in this movie, they flat out say like Freddy Krueger was a pedophile, and that's why he's dead, and that's why he's a villain. And they really like amp up the whole pedophile side of his character, which definitely is like a whole nother thing of like, okay, we're just kind of taking this classic horror character who is mostly known for just killing children. Now we're saying, you know, he's having sex with them, and we should actually genuinely fucking hate him and not celebrate him. And I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way with like the way it was trying to go.
To me, Freddy Krueger was never like killing kids though. Like in the original, isn't he killing like fucking seniors in high school?
Yeah, like high school kids.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But
in this movie too, like they imply that he was like a pedophile to like, you know, he was like doing stuff with like little girls as 8 years old and everything. And it's like, nah, even if you wanted to imply that like, you know, he got a little dirty with them or whatever, like, I mean, he was mostly focused on like, you know, very late teens kids. It wasn't like he was like diddling 4-year-olds on the playground like they kind of imply in this movie.
Right,
so yeah,
right.
they like warped the character the whole way. They stripped away everything that kind of makes them. So yeah, it's like that's a movie that I just don't feel like offers anything, and also kind of like stains the sort of the iconography of the character a little bit. And yeah, that was
you know what? That's exactly what I'd say about Psycho. Too.
Yeah.
So but let me hear what your real pick.
So that was like runner-up. Real
Wait,
pick
that wasn't
here.
your pick?
No, that was runner-up. Just to get it out of my head. But my real pick here is going to be Paranormal Activity.
The original?
Yeah, the OG.
Why do you hate good
I
things?
can't pick that, Eric.
Well,
Eric, there's so many worse movies.
no, hear me out. So the original Paranormal Activity, I wasn't a big fan of it, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm not going to say it's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I've seen cheaper, shittier, way worse movies than Paranormal Activity. But the thing is that Paranormal Activity is a movie that has caused a lot of those other shittier, low-budget movies that I've wasted my time with. Because what Paranormal Activity did was not only did I not find it a very good movie in general, it's a movie that I think, to me, was just kind of a lot of waiting around. Once in a while, a thing goes bump. Once in a while, you kind of get this, which a lot of movies pull that same thing. And then the ending is like kind of cool, but really not worth the payoff. I thought the sequel in 3 did better, and then they just get stupid after 3. But the first,
I didn't watch. Actually, that's not true. I did watch. I watched the one where they're in the hood.
Yeah.
All these horror movies do the in the hood.
The fourth one.
Yeah, that's like a
one's always
sequel.
The hood.
Idea. After a while, Leprechaun did it, and other movies did
Nightmare
it.
on Elm Street did it. Halloween
Can I tell a
did
story
it.
real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I went to a convention, like a small convention in Florida, and me and all my friends, there were probably like 5 or 6 of us, and in the middle of the day, we were all getting so tired, and we went into a room where they were doing a movie screening, and we were like, well, we'll just sit in here, like fall asleep for like an hour, who cares? And they were showing Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which is like the 6th Leprechaun movie. It's the second Hood one.
Steep.
But it was like an empty room with just me and my friends and the guy running it. And he's like, all right, guys, we're just going to get started now. I'm going to play this movie, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, that I directed. And afterwards, we're going to do a Q&A.
Oh, my God.
And we were all like, wait, you directed that movie? And so we none of us went to sleep. We just watched the entire movie with this guy. And then afterwards, he was just trash talking like the editor and stuff like that. And
my God.
We were just like, how did this happen? But yeah, like you said, a lot of great horror franchises end up in the hood.
Right, and so did Paranormal Activity.
Actually, you know what? We're talking about Paranormal Activity. I think this is 5. I think it's the marked ones.
Yeah.
But that... we're getting a little off topic here, but
sure.
I just want to say that movie has one of my favorite endings of any fucking Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Or any horror movie in general. Do you guys care about spoilers at all for that?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
So spoilers for Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, but I doubt you're going to see it anyways if you haven't already. The movie ends where... So in number 3... I actually like number 3 a lot. Paranormal Activity 3. I think that's the best one in the franchise. And I think it's actually a great movie.
I agree, actually, yeah.
Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Paranormal Activity 3 sets up this, like, cult. And Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, all these gangsters are going into this cult house, and they're fucking shooting cult members with shotguns. With, like, sawed-off shotguns. It's gangsters versus cult members. And then... the main characters of that movie go back in time to the events of the 2006 original Paranormal Activity, and they like run into fucking Katie. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous, but it's actually a great ending. Anyways.
Yeah.
I think Paranormal Activity.
Well, hold on. What I want to say one more thing. So I said about the quality of the movie, but also another thing about Paranormal Activity is I think it just got so big that it also just started a new wave of like people really wanting to go for found footage horror movies, and we got a couple of good ones out of like that new wave of found footage horror that we got at the end of the 2000s, beginning of 2010s. But there was just so much crap that I had to wade through for the longest time that it was just annoying how many people just thought they could pick up a camera and make a found footage movie in their house, and how wrong they are. That like, no, there's more to making a movie than just, oh, what if we just do really slow shots in our house and be creepy. And yeah,
I mean, they're still doing them to a certain extent. Like Unfriended 2 came out
The
this
dark
year.
web.
Yeah.
And that's found footage, technically.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say it was Paranormal Activity on its own, but it was like one of the big proprietors, because that was a franchise. That went to like movie 5 or 6 or something like that. But there were other movies too in the late 2000s. Like, there was like Cloverfield and Rex/Quarantine. But like Paranormal Activity was a franchise that kept booming and booming and booming, and it really didn't deserve to boom as much as it did, I thought. And it just caused so much shit to be produced after that, and I mostly blame Paranormal Activity because of that.
I think you're right that it didn't deserve 6 movies. But I mean, Paranormal Activity 3 is a really great movie that came out of the original Paranormal Activity. And I'd also say, like, they made the original on a budget of $10,000, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, it's pretty cool that there was, like, such a phenomenon around that movie when, like, it was coming out. Because I remember in high school, like, all these kids were being like, it's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. It really wasn't.
Nope.
But
yep.
It was like, here's this challenge to go see this scary movie.
Yeah.
There was this fucking overdramatic kid in my choir class that was like, I haven't been able to sleep in 5 days since I saw Paranormal Activity on Friday. Whatever. But it is impressive that this like little piece of shit movie that was made for $10,000 is such a phenomenon. And I think that that's kind of special about Paranormal Activity. And there's a lot of shitty horror movies that came out of it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of horror movies that come out that are shitty anyways, that aren't a found footage thing. And we did get movies like VHS out of Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We did get some good ones.
So that's where I'm at with it.
Searching count?
I actually just watched
a
good...
I'd say Searching counts. I like that one a lot too.
I just watched a good found footage movie last night as well, so I guess I can't say, because who knows,
Which
maybe
one?
that was even inspired. It's a newer movie. It actually came out some years ago, but they just put out a sequel for it. I plan on watching the sequel tonight after we record this podcast, but it's a movie called Hell House. It's about... I
think I've heard of that.
It's about these kids that want to run like a haunted house. So what they do is they buy out this old abandoned hotel, and they like workshop this old hotel into like a makeshift haunted house that they make. But then creepy stuff starts going on inside the house. They're making it, things are moving the way they're not supposed to, and it just kind of escalates and escalates until like you get to this. And the crazy thing is happening, because the synopsis of the movie is that there was this big accident there that killed 15 people, and what was this accident? So they start the movie by doing like fake interviews, or they talk to people about the accident, and you see like YouTube footage of like customers that were there and like things that were happening, but you have like no context. So it's this movie that starts with you talking about this big thing that happened, and then they slowly go into the whole story of how he got there, and then you see that big thing again at the end of the movie. But now you have so much more context, and you see so much more of it now. And yeah, it's a really well made movie. I definitely recommend it. It's called Hell House. I watch it on a horror streaming service I have called Shudder. It's been getting pretty big lately. If you're interested in Shudder, check it out. If you don't have Shudder, it's pretty cheap. It's like $4.99, or even they have a $3.99 a month plan. If you like horror movies,
a sponsor?
Check it out. Yeah, I'm plugging it because I think it deserves more subscribers. The Shudder service.
Shudder, please pay us for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you don't, we're cutting it out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut it out of the broadcast if you don't pay us right now.
It's a threat.
Well, what do you guys think? I mean, I don't want to go with Paranormal Activity because I think that movie.
Yeah,
I think
that's fine.
You know what? I kind of like the original too. It's not a great movie, but whatever.
I mean, there's a reason that it had so many sequels and so many movies that inspired. It's not like the perfect movie, and it's like an hour long, which is funny.
Mhm.
But like, no, it's got its merits. It's definitely if you're, I feel like if you've only got 31 nights of Halloween, I think that can fit in the playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the acting is really good too. I think that they do a good job of selling it to be like this real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, not, I don't ever fall for it, but I
Right.
think it is interesting that, a lot of people were like, this is real footage that they fucking found, blah, blah, blah. It's a poor man's Blair Witch project, but I still like it, so.
Yeah, no, you definitely opened my eyes to some of the merits, so I'm cool with not picking Paranormal Activity, but that's what I had to offer. Although I don't know if I could pick Christian's either, just because I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And I also don't have anything against like teen girl witch movies. I've seen a couple of them, in the past, and I don't mind girls and witches and stuff like that. So
I say check this out. Check the movie. I want to know what you think.
I will.
You've seen so many horror movies.
If I will, and I feel the same way. We could do, one of our.
We'll do a flashback.
Flashback. That's a segment. The flashback segment. We could do that for sure. So yeah, I don't know if we could do Zack's or I mean, I threw out the Nightmare on Elm Street remake earlier. So we could do Psycho or we could do Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I guess.
Well, what are you thinking, Christian?
You brought back up the Nightmare on Elm Street, and I didn't get a chance to say this earlier. But the movie itself isn't good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes it like so offensive to me is the fact that they didn't even ask Robert Englund to be Freddy Krueger in the remake. Like, they didn't even think to ask the original Freddy Krueger if he wanted to be in the movie.
They didn't ask him, but I mean, they interviewed him, and he was just like, "Yeah, God bless him." He didn't sound interested at all anyway. And,
oh yeah.
To be honest, because he said, multiple times, like, I'm done playing Freddy Krueger. Like after Freddy vs. Jason, he was like, I think that might be
Freddy Krueger,
my finale. Yeah, actually, it's Tuesday night, so tomorrow night, Wednesday. They're for the first time ever since Freddy vs. Jason in 2003, Freddy Krueger is doing an in makeup, totally in character cameo on the sitcom The Goldbergs, where he'll play Freddy Krueger. I am, definitely, because I've seen the promos and stuff, and yeah, he's got the voice, he's doing the acting, he is just playing Freddy Krueger. I think they call him, something else just for copyright or whatever, called like Mr. Knifey Hands or something like that, in the episode. But like, no, not Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty couldn't even get fucking Robert Englund, but the Goldbergs could. But yeah, no, he's playing it tomorrow, and I'm very excited just to see him do it again, and maybe it'll even inspire him to do another movie. And it's actually him doing this that brought the Nightmare on Elm Street remake back into my mental space because he's been doing a lot of interviews lately about, because I mean, even though it's just a little sitcom cameo, it's a big thing. It's the first time he's playing Freddy Krueger in makeup for the first time since 15 years. So he's been doing a lot of cameos, and he was saying that he almost didn't do this, but then the creator of the show not only asked him, but he wrote up a big thing about I'm such a huge fan of yours. I'll never forget seeing, Nightmare 3 when I was a child and how much that spooked me.
Awesome.
And he wrote a list of all these Freddy Krueger memories. I was this Freddy Krueger costume. I had these toys. And he was him just listing all that stuff kind of made me realize that we're in the 2010s now, almost 2020s. We're kind of getting to the point where the old 70s, 80s slasher guys are sort of becoming the new Frankenstein, mummy, vampire, where they're just so iconic horror movie monsters that they're he's it kind of made me realize for the first time that Freddy Krueger wasn't just a character I played in 7 movies. This is a very iconic Halloween horror character, and how much that meant. So he was yeah. So then after that, I decided to do it, and I signed on, and blah blah blah. And he's and he even teased maybe I'll do another movie. Who knows? I think I got maybe one in me, but not a whole franchise. But anyway, him saying just how iconic Freddy Krueger is as a character over time since the 80s. also made me think like, gee, really sucks that the 2010 one had to be and just kind of fucking mess with a bunch of stuff that didn't need to be messed with. So yeah, reading all that Robert Englund stuff lately also made me realize like how bad that movie was and how much it really just didn't need to do a lot of things.
Well, that was another paid advertisement for the Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs, yeah, check the Goldbergs out.
NBC.
But
thank you, Goldbergs, for the sponsorship.
By the time this goes up, that episode with him in it will probably already be out. So check it out on demand or whatever the fuck.
Watch the scene on YouTube. It'll be fun.
Or watch the scene on YouTube. Yeah, you can probably watch it on YouTube. Or go look it up.
No, don't watch it on YouTube. They'll cancel our
sponsorship. Okay, yeah, go on demand.
Here's
and
the
watch
thing.
It.
Thursday nights.
Yeah, what do we got, Zach?
Here's what I'm gonna say about The Nightmare Before Christmas. Shit,
Zach.
Here's what I'm gonna say about Nightmare on Elm Street versus
come on, please.
Psycho. At least Nightmare on Elm Street sequel tried to do something different. Psycho tried to like recreate this classic shot for shot.
Yeah.
And I'd say that while Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic, don't get me wrong, there's so many Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and there's Freddy's Little Nightmares or whatever it's called, the TV show. And then
Lady Gaga.
There's
wait.
Yeah, Little Monsters. There's just so much Nightmare on Elm Street stuff that's not as classic as the original few movies. Or what's the one where it gets all meta and like the actress is getting hunted by Freddy?
Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
New Nightmare, yeah. I mean, those are good movies, but there's also a lot of crap in the Nightmare on Elm Street saga. And Psycho only has like 4 movies before the 1998 remake, and then it has like the Bates Motel TV show.
Hey, Bates Motel's a big show. Like, I know a lot of people who watch that fucking show.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that the Psycho remake is just a little bit more disrespectful to me than the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, just because there's so much Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think I might be with you on that.
So
I think you're right.
Can we go?
And I've seen the Psycho remake. I caught it on TV once, and it's not a good movie, but you know, to me in my mind, like Psycho isn't a franchise. It's just the one movie, and then there's like all these other sequels here too. Where I think of Nightmare more as like a franchise thing. But the reason why I wouldn't mind leaning more towards Psycho also is, like I said, I think Psycho is a great shining, you know, gold standard example of something that just too often in movies, and especially horror movies, which is people feeling necessary to do the one-for-one, shot-for-shot remake that doesn't add anything at all except, you know, new effects or whatever. And that's always just rubbed me the wrong way, and Psycho is a perfect example of that. So I'm really good to go with either, honestly. Nightmare.
Well, I'm
Psycho.
saying Psycho.
Psycho. Oh.
Can we say Psycho?
Christian.
Paranormal act. No. Psycho, you're right. We gotta lock it in.
Yeah, you could do.
Okay,
yeah,
Psycho. Lock it in. Great. Well, the final topic of the show.
The spookiest of all of them.
The spookiest topic of all is gonna be worst Halloween tradition. And I'm gonna start us off, like I always do.
Yeah.
With my pick. I'm gonna be cheating a little bit here because I picked this same exact pick for a Christmas episode that was lost.
Oh my god! Well, I don't even remember.
But I think it's an even worse tradition given the season, and I'm talking about the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay at the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
Oh man, I disagree.
Now, why I think this is actually a better pick for Halloween instead of Christmas,
because they started,
is that it doesn't make any sense for Halloween. If it was just a Christmas overlay during Christmas, that's okay, but it's not. And for me, you know, I think Haunted Mansion is like the epitome of what Halloween is. It's, you know, spooky, but it's also whimsical, and I feel like that encapsulates to me what the spirit of Halloween is. And Nightmare Before Christmas is so Christmas and like zero Halloween to me.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right.
And like the regular Haunted Mansion, I feel like is as close to Halloween as any ride has come and will come. So I think it would be a great ride to ride on Halloween. But no, like you have to go through Christmas carols and gingerbread men and like
Yeah.
lights everywhere. Um, and I feel like it's not right for the season of Halloween. And if it started November 1st, totally okay, totally down for that. But
Mm-hmm.
because it's during Halloween time, I want just the regular spooky Haunted Mansion. I feel like that's totally lost for me when I go to Disneyland during Halloween time.
Yeah, I definitely like the ride. Don't get me wrong, but you're right. It's a third of the year pretty much, and
It's 4 months of the year.
even if it started on Halloween, it's really, like you said, not a Halloween thing. It's really a Christmas thing. And I mean, I love the ride, but like during Halloween, Disney and Disneyland and all that, they really do a push of like Haunted Mansion. Like, they're playing the original score of the Haunted Mansion. Everything's spooky, but
Well, even during like the Halloween parties, you have like Haunted Mansion characters out and about doing stuff.
you got the bride, you got the ghosts, you got everyone's
Mm-hmm.
there, but you can't ride the original ride during Halloween, which
And
you're
those
right
things
is
are missing
crazy.
during the Haunted Mansion holiday too. Like you can't see the bride, you can't see a lot of the ghosts. They're
Oogie
covered up
Boogie's
by
there.
yeah, Oogie Boogie's there. I guess he's kind of a Halloween thing, but it's it.
He's the new bride.
I think Nightmare Before Christmas would be a great thing if it was only for Christmas and not also
Mm-hmm.
like Halloween. And they try to get away with it by saying when two holiday worlds collide. But that's not really how it is.
Yeah.
It's mostly just Christmas. That's mostly what the ride is. It's like spooky Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. And I've said my piece. I got it off my chest. Let me hear one of your guys'
Well,
picks.
one more thing I just want to say about the Nightmare Before Christmas thing is that the Nightmare Before Christmas, just the movie on its own, I've always looked at as being symbolic of the feeling from transitioning from the holiday of Halloween to Christmas. Because when the movie opens up, it is Halloween. Everyone's celebrating Halloween. Like, that's the opening of the movie. And then Halloween ends, and then it's everyone looking forward to Christmas. And then from there, it's mostly a Christmas movie with just, kind of some Halloween, aesthetic and stuff going on. So I've always seen it, Nightmare Before Christmas definitely more as a Christmas movie than a Halloween movie. So on that front too, and in addition to the fact that, when they do the, Nightmare on Christmas overlay over Disneyland, it is primarily Christmas that, yeah, it always feels weird to me that, that starts as early as it does, because I think it would be better to start, the day after Halloween, a few days after Halloween, maybe even on Halloween if you want to, just because that's the way the movie works. And I think that's the kind of the feeling the movie's going for, is that kind of transition time from this big holiday to this big holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like if you look at the movie itself, I mean, for those who haven't been to Disneyland, I don't know if there's a whole lot of viewers or listeners to the show that
Could be.
haven't been there, but yeah, Haunted Mansion, every year they do this Halloween overlay that is Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. He like decorates the house for Christmas, the mansion for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think with the movie even, the Halloween stuff doesn't have Christmas stuff in it in the movie.
Yeah.
So as soon as that holiday ends in the movie, yeah, it's full steam ahead to Christmas basically. It's like the night after Jack falls into fucking a tree and then he
All right.
goes into
15
Christmas
minutes
land.
into the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it is all Christmas basically. And that movie, I think, like people like to complain about the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay being there at all. I disagree with that. I think it makes sense being there during Christmas.
Sure. Yeah.
I like it during Christmas even. I think if it was only a Christmas thing, I would enjoy that way more. But it's just that it's before Halloween, and then it like goes all the way to January.
Oh yeah.
It's so much time, and I just want to write Haunted Mansion. So that's where I'm at. But let me hear what one of you guys think about. I want to hear another worst Halloween tradition
Uh,
since we're in the season.
uh, how crazy is your pick, Christian? Because mine's very small and stupid. So,
Nah, you go ahead. You're
yeah,
already going.
yeah, all right,
Mine's insane. No, actually, it's not. Go ahead.
okay. Mine is very simple. I don't think it's gonna win. It's just very simple and dumb. But mine is gonna be bobbing for apples. I think bobbing for apples is stupid.
Oh man, I could just picture
like,
you
does
yelling
anyone
at kids.
All these little kids are gathered around a big fucking wooden bucket, dunking their heads, and Eric's just fucking there, folding his arms across his chest, shaking his head.
Does anyone like bobbing for apples? Like who
No.
who likes yeah, do even kids like I mean, I guess if they I think you can get kids hyped on any game at all. Like
Yeah,
kids just
I mean
get
that
hyped when they
goes
hear
to show you.
you know, like, hey, want to play this cool game? Kids are always down for any fucking game. But I think when push comes to shove, they actually don't like getting like their head dunked in water and fishing out these apples.
Waterboarding.
It's just stupid. And then there's the whole thing about like you're supposed to hide prizes in the apples. I feel like no one ever does that.
In the apples?
You're supposed to
How
hide.
are you supposed to do that?
Like you hide like little rings and toys inside them. Like you carve them out a little bit.
I've never
Ew.
seen that in my life. You're putting inedible things inside of the apples.
Yeah.
What if you bite too hard?
That's my point. Is like they can get
You're gonna
lost.
murder a kid.
They can fall out of the apple, fall to the bottom of the barrel. Then you get an apple that's just got nothing in it. You expected a prize. I feel like
I like apples though. Apples. The apple is the prize.
oh my God. Some prize apples, fruit you can get anywhere. But yeah, no, I don't. I've just never been big. I like other things we do with apples on Halloween. I like candy apples. I like caramel apples. I don't like bobbing for apples. Fuck bobbing for apples.
I don't even think of. And you're probably right. It probably is a Halloween thing. I remember only doing it during Halloween.
Yeah.
But I don't even think of it as like a Halloween thing. It just there's nothing about it that is specifically Halloween to me, you know?
I mean, like
So I get where you're coming from.
every movie that's got a Halloween party's always got like, oh, there's the bobbing for apples station over there. And I mean, the best thing it's done is give us horror movies that have, you know, kills that involve, you know, drowning people when they're bobbing for apples and shit. I mean, I think that's funny because bobbing for apples is stupid, and yeah, you fine kill them while they're bobbing for apples, but otherwise, I think as a real thing to do on Halloween at Halloween parties, it's I don't get it. It's very strange to me.
Nah, it's good.
I agree. It's not something if it was at a party, I'd probably do it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my God.
But I think that you're right. There's not a whole lot of inherent value in it.
I have been to parties. Not a lot, but I've been to a couple parties.
Oh, you've been to parties?
Had where they had
parties before?
Yeah, I've been to parties. I've not only been to parties, but I have also been to other parties where they had a bobbing for apple station open. And I've just looked at it, and it just doesn't look like any fun. It's just like, let me get my entire head soaked in water and pull out this apple, and feel like I accomplished nothing.
I mean,
feel like, yeah. Go ahead.
Think about other games though that you play at parties that are similar to that, and there's not a whole lot there either. Like throwing a little fucking hacky sack into a fucking board with a hole in it is not as exciting as bobbing for apples. I don't think. It just like depends on like, are we playing for prizes or what are we doing? Then it gets a little bit more interesting. But none of those games to me are fun.
No.
I think the only way you can get me to do bobbing for apples, because now I'm just thinking like people are just slobbering going for those apples.
Yeah.
I feel like the only way
think of all the spit in the water.
The water
I'd have to be
is
the first
clean
guy.
though, so then the apples
No.
get clean.
No, the water's not clean if people are slobbering into the bucket.
Listen, There's a MythBusters episode about
God.
this.
What the hell?
And it's probably
Is there?
not. I don't know. Is there?
Oh my God.
Anyways, I don't think Bobby for Apples is that bad. But
Yeah,
Christian,
I had a
what's your
feeling.
pick?
My worst pick. My pick for worst
Your
Halloween
worst pick?
tradition. My
Yeah.
worst pick.
Oh.
Hey, some might say it is a bad pick. Some might agree with me.
I'm gonna say
Honestly,
trick or treating.
trick or treat. No, trick or treating's fun. If you don't like trick or treating, then you need to reconsider the choices you've made in your life. I think if you are a grump about anything like bobbing for apples, you're sad.
Oh shit.
No, the worst Halloween tradition. This. I've seen this at a few Halloween parties
Oh,
in my
good.
adult life. Yeah, it's
Pin the tail on the donkey.
in the what? What'd you say?
I said pin the tail on the
Oh.
donkey.
Spin the tail on the donkey. No. Every time I see this, I just don't like it at all. And I'm talking guys, boys, viewers like you. Ouija boards. I hate Ouija boards. Okay, first of all, I'm terrified of the devil.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't even want to tempt that.
Oh my God, you're a little baby.
Listen,
I'm a sad old man, and you're a little baby.
I can't prove anything. All I can prove is that if I'm not involved, I can't be held liable.
Oh my God. Well, to tell that
So
to the
you-
devil.
The devil,
You know?
the devil sees the Ouija board. He sees through his little looking glass, and he sees me in the other side of the room doing nothing, having no part in it, and I'm safe. I'm
Oh my
absolved from
God!
his devilish
That's
deeds.
some funny stuff.
I was talking to Christian last week. I think we were talking about me listening to this like haunted podcast or something like that. And Christian was not about that.
No, man.
Yeah, you're trying to tell me spooky story, and you were telling me how envious you were of me because I believe a little bit about like ghosts and stuff, and you wish that you had that level of
That purity, I guess.
that purity. But I mean, I don't enjoy getting spooked, and like there are real things in life, and I can't say that anything is real or isn't. But why risk it? Get out of here with that Ouija board. Play it at home. Don't bring it to my Halloween party. I
Oh
don't
my
even invite you anyway.
Wait, so have friends of yours actually like brought over a Ouija board to your house?
I've been not at my house, but I've been to parties where there is a Ouija board. I don't know
Oh.
who brought it. I think the devil might have planted it there himself.
Gotta get
The devil might have
Gotta-
played.
get some names.
Yep, Beelzebub. How about that? Lucifer. I'll give you another one.
Okay, go ahead.
Pazuzu? Is that one of them?
No, I don't think so.
Anyway,
What about the one from Hereditary? Do we know what his name
Oh
is?
yeah, what was his name? Bob? I don't remember his name.
This is Steve.
Might have been Steve. But yeah, no, get him out of there. No Ouija boards. And I feel like supernatural things aside, I feel like anytime people play with the Ouija board, there's always one jokester at the table who has to make it about himself and just makes the bit like, oh, the table moved, or oh, this thing fell. Everyone look.
See, I thought you were going a totally different direction with this. I thought you were going to be like, it's lame just because it's not supernatural using it. It's just people at the table who are moving it.
Listen,
but-
it is both of those things. It is lame. It is people at the table moving it.
But
But
if you know people are at the table are moving it, doesn't that make you feel safe? Like, oh, well, I know it's just these jokesters and it's not really the devil.
I don't think. Listen. The thing about Ouija boards, I don't think that the devil is actually telling you what to write on the thing. What I think the
Oh my
devil
God.
is, I think he sees us taunting him with our funny Ouija boards, and he's looking for trouble.
Oh my God. So you think he's not, physically moving anything or doing anything. You think, that when a Ouija board comes out, he's summoned and he just kind of witnesses everything that happens, and he's like making notes about who's like Santa Claus. You know, who's naughty, who's nice during this kind of Ouija board nonsense.
Yeah, like
He
pisses
sees
them
you
off.
when you're Ouijaing.
Like if you had a
when
little,
you're
if you
awake.
had a little Santa Claus doll and you like started like making it do like raunchy things, I don't think that doll is Santa Claus. But if Santa Claus was watching, he wouldn't like that at all.
No.
He
And
wouldn't
that's
like
why
that
he
one
doesn't like the Nightmare
bit.
Before Christmas overlay at the Haunted Mansion.
Right. That's why he doesn't like it. Too many Santa hats.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ouija boards. No, thank you.
Oh shit.
I like Ouija boards. I own one.
Of course
They're
you
fun.
do.
Yeah,
I
of
don't
course
even-
I do.
I don't even want to. They had a Stranger Things Ouija board at Target, and I just kept walking.
You think you could summon the devil with a Stranger Things Ouija board?
I don't want to take my chances.
See, I was almost ready to like kind of agree with your pick, just because I am such a skeptic. I am like the biggest skeptic on the supernatural ever.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was ready to be like, yeah, it's lame just because it's this, but I don't know. I like them.
We can't rule
They're
anything
fun.
out, and for that, I'm
I
afraid
like
of
them
everything.
just because of your reaction now, though. I think I like them more
Now you
because
like
you're
the
so
Ouija
scared
boards?
of the devil. Yeah.
All right, see what happens if you bring me a Ouija board, Zach.
Okay, I will.
That's going in the dumpster.
All right. Well, let's pick one of these. We got Nightmare Before Christmas overlay at the Haunted
Nightmare on
Mansion
Elm
at
Street.
Disneyland. We got Nightmare on Elm Street. We've got Bobbin for Apples, and we got a Ouija board. What do you guys think?
I think I'm leaning towards Nightmare Before Christmas just because me and Christians are so like so little piddly and dumb. But
I think Zach, we both like the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. I think that for the reasons you said, I agree with you. Like it shouldn't be 4
It's a
months
bad
out of the year.
Halloween tradition.
nothing to
It's
do
not a
with
bad
Halloween.
Christmas tradition.
sure,
Right. It has nothing to do with Halloween. It's a great Christmas thing. But yeah, you're right. I guess I'd much rather have like that regular Haunted Mansion on Halloween, because that's like the spirit, like you said, the spirit of Halloween. It's a little bit of spooks, a little bit of frights, a little bit of fun, mischief.
That's what Halloween's all about, you guys.
Tricks and treats.
I mean, if anything, the regular Haunted Mansion is probably more Halloween than Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah,
It really
definitely.
is.
Now if they made a Nightmare on Elm Street Haunted Mansion,
Even
They should do
better.
Ooh, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
why don't they do that?
Well,
Maybe
maybe
they should.
maybe they will after the Goldbergs special comes on.
Yeah, I mean it's on ABC, so Freddy Krueger's officially a Disney character.
So there you go. And it's Robert Englund Freddy Krueger too, like the Freddy Krueger as well. So.
Yeah. They got the top of the top. They didn't get what's his name? Rorschach.
Yeah, Jackie Earl Haley.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Jackie Earl Haley.
Throw him in the trash.
He was good
Well-
at Watchmen, and he's a good actor in general. But I mean, I think he did the best job he could have with Freddy Krueger, but not ideal.
He probably brought the diddling kids into the script. It probably wasn't
Oh,
fun in there.
oh man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said it. Anyway,
Oh
the
my
devil told
God.
me to say that. Sorry,
That's
guys.
You got a Ouija board in front of you. All right, let's lock in the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay.
Sure.
What does that leave us with? We got for worst Halloween costume. What did we end up picking? Did we pick we picked Christian's
the
persona costume?
Persona costume.
Persona
Right.
costumes.
Yes.
Funny bits costume.
And for worst candy, we picked Hubba Bubba gum.
Also my pick. Hell yeah.
For worst movie, we picked the 1998 Psycho. And for worst tradition, we picked the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay at the Haunted Mansion. What do you guys think's the worst thing ever on this most scary, this most spooky, this most terrifying of nights?
This most ghoulish of events.
I don't think I'm going with gum because gum's fine.
You're
It's
not
just
going with gum?
Not going with the gum on this one.
I think we might, the one thing that you see from beginning to end of Halloween season is those funny costumes. I think that might.
Persona costumes.
Yeah, I think it may be about the persona costume.
I'm thinking we might go that way too.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, no one has to watch Psycho remake. No one has to chew that hubba bubba, and no one has to.
No one has to go to Disneyland.
Most people don't. Sucks for them.
But you know what? Fucking Donald Trump character walking up to you, going like, "Hey, look at me, I'm Donald Trump."
That sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, fuck it. But that happens every Halloween for me. There's always some guy who's
now, if it was
fucking dressed up like.
If it was Beetlejuice,
if it was Beetlejuice, that'd be all right.
If Beetlejuice came up to me and said "you're fired," then I'd like that. Zach, let's lock it in.
Okay, it's the persona costume. That's the worst thing ever. Thank you very much for listening to this most haunted of Halloween episodes of the worst things ever. Hey, if you're a spookster out there, you're gathering around the what the fuck? I just heard banging on. What the fuck was that?
Oh God, Zach! What? Zach?
Oh my God! I think there's somebody in the house with me.
Oh, nice.
Barnaby?
Could be Barnaby.
It wasn't Barnaby. There's banging on my wall.
Oh my God, Zach! Be careful. It's not funny.
Okay, well, I have to whisper to finish up the podcast. But you know what? If you're a fan, rate us on iTunes. It really helps us out. If you enjoyed this episode, if you had any disagreements with our topics, well, email us. Let us know. We're worstthingspodcast@gmail.com, or we're at Twitter @worstThingsCast. Send us a DM. Send us topics. That helps us out too. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we go? Oh my God! What the fuck was that?
Zach, be careful. Zach.
Oh my God! What
can I
was
follow
that?
you on Twitter?
There's the doors. Wait. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter @Zack Weiss.
Be careful, Zach. Oh my God! If you guys want to follow Zach, please be careful. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Zach, please.
Oh my God! Oh my God! They're breaking in my room.
Doggy.
Oh my
God! Doggy on Twitter.
Oh God! Oh God! What do you want? What do you want? Oh no!
I think it's just Barnaby.
Oh God! It sounds like they're kidnapping him. Eric.
No!
Barnaby's playing a little bit rough.
Eric, this sounds real.
I think it's the devil that's got him. I think he was really pissed off about all things Christian said about the Ouija board.
I told him to be careful.
Yep, Zach said he's a skeptic, and now the devil's getting him for it.
Wait, Zach? Oh God, Eric.
Should I just plug my thing while he's gone? Yeah.
He might be gone forever.
Zach's not here.
Oh my
Who's this?
God.
Who's this?
No, it's Pazuzu.
Is this the devil? Is this like an Evil Dead thing?
Eric Beer.
Oh my God, no.
Oh,
tell me your Twitter handle.
The devil's talking to me.
Eric,
tell me your Twitter handle, Eric.
Oh, the devil wants to know. Okay, Mr. Devil, you want to follow me on Twitter? Here's how you do it. You go to twitter.com, you type in like the @ symbol, and you put in Ricky like the name and Bear like the animal. And that's how I get a follow from you, Mr. Devil.
Satan like the name. Devil like the animal.
Hell yeah, I'll follow you too, bud.
Thank you for listening to the worst things ever.
Sounds like Jigsaw.
This is the end. Would you like to play a game?
Yeah,
no.
Jigsaw cameo tonight.
Oh,
I maybe would have put a Saw movie for my worst movies ever, but I haven't seen all the Saw sequels. I've only seen half.
Eric, let it end. Let the devil leave.
I think the devil wants to come back and weigh in on some topics, don't you?
I would like to talk about every topic you guys have discussed tonight.
Oh God!
So I'm going to start with worst costume.
Oh no, devil! We don't
My
have time
worst costume.
Oh God!
Is Jesus costumes.
No, Jesus, I like
Do not dress like Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus is fucking
parties.
stupid.
Oh God.
Halloween is my holiday.
And
Christmas is Jesus's. If you dress up like Jesus or the Virgin Mary, get out of my Halloween party. Dress up like me, the devil, for Halloween.
The hell yeah. I agree.
For worst candy.
Oh God.
Zach was right. Twizzlers are the worst candy, and I just ate him.
No, man, you are the devil. They should have picked the Twizzler.
For worst Halloween movie.
Go ahead.
Nightmare on Elm
God,
Street.
he's still here.
Number 1.
Hey, he knows.
The original.
Oh,
The original. Not.
hey,
I like the remake.
We got it. Where's the Ouija board? We gotta get this
The
guy
Because-
devil
out of
likes the
here.
remake.
Freddy Krueger actually is a pedophile.
Where's the
he's down
Ouija
here
board?
with
We're
me.
getting this guy back to hell.
It's closer to reality to me.
Where's Christian?
Suck
I know
him
you're
back
hiding
into
the
the
Ouija
Ouija
board.
Suck him back
For
into
worst
the Ouija board.
Halloween
Jumanji!
Hello?
Alright, we Jumanji the devil, I think.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? Hi. It's
Oh
me,
my
Zach.
God, Zach! Did you just?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Well, no, sorry. I was getting a cola. I was getting a Coca-Cola.
Zach, you're not gonna
Mhm.
believe this. The
Yeah.
devil himself was weighing in on topics.
Shut the fuck up, Christian.
From
There's
tonight's
no such
episode.
thing as the devil.
He didn't tell us his tradition, his worst tradition.
I don't want to hear it.
Did we already do Twitter plugs? What happened with that?
I mean, I did mine. Ricky did his. Man, you really missed all that? The devil was here.
You gotta go back and listen to the recording when we're done.
I'm a skeptic, so I don't believe you. I think it was probably just. It was probably. You know what? You were probably just hearing like the wind, and it was just probably hitting the microphone in a weird
Well,
way,
you'll see
so.
when you hear the recording back. You'll see.
You know what? Let's wrap this up. Thank you very much for listening, and have a good night.
Happy
Bye.
Halloween.
All right, let's go ahead and record.
Let's start recording now.
Ah!